Hello, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today we are talking about the feeling of being behind and the hidden costs that come along with this. And so if you've joined this, it's because you saw this title and you were like, oh, that sounds like I need to listen to that. And so you're in good company. And my goal with this is to help you understand that you're not alone in this. I hear this from all of my clients. I feel this. You are not alone in this feeling. And it's because you're an ambitious, awesome, amazing entrepreneur that is trying to do a lot. And so we are constantly feeling like we're behind and feeling that like nagging feeling of, oh my gosh, I should have done more. I need to do more. That constant battle of not feeling like you did enough. So today I'm going to talk about why this really comes at us. And I'm also sharing a little bit more about procrastination. So I've talked about this on and off of the podcast, and it's something that plagues a lot of us. And I saw something in the Assist newsletter. I'll be sure to link this in the show notes. And when I saw it and knew I was going to record this episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to bring this in because there's 5 types of procrastination that they highlighted, and it's so clarifying. So I'm excited to share that with you. But first, I want to talk about why this happens. And I said like the feeling of not doing enough. The feeling of being behind. This happens for a few reasons, and it leads to something that I'll call, maybe other people have said this, I'm not sure, is chronic dissatisfaction. And those words that kind of hurt my gut a little bit because we as ambitious, driven entrepreneurs are like living our passion, right? So we should, right, in quotes, feel satisfied all the time. I get to do what I love. And so I should feel satisfied all the time. However, because I'm an ambitious entrepreneur who has a million ideas and wants to do all of them greatly, right? I'm dissatisfied because of all of these things. So it's like, it's this battle that I think that we're fighting internally of, I know I get to do this thing that I love, which I love so much, and that's awesome. And I'm also struggling with the fact that I'm never satisfied. All at the same time. Because when we think about things like if you hit a goal, but you immediately set another one. Yes, I've done that. You probably have too. And it's like, duh, that's what we do, right? As entrepreneurs. I'm always talking about goal setting and goal achievement, right? That's what I talk about on this podcast each and every time. And maybe you've had a launch of something in your business and you focused only on what went wrong and what you could do better. I am so guilty of this every time I step off the stage. Every single time. People will ask me, how did it go? And my immediate words are, well, there's things I could have done better, but I think it went okay. My first thought is there's always something I could do better. And part of that is beautiful because it means I will get better and better every time I do it. And part of it is chronic dissatisfaction with myself. Right? And it's so hard. And I believe that you on the other end of these earbuds that we have on, if you were with me and I could see you, you'd be nodding and saying, yes, I feel this to my core. Because I believe that whoever's listening to this podcast is ambitious and driven, and we are all struggling with this idea. And so when we feel behind, we have to figure out how can we not feel like that with all this ambition that we do have. We want to celebrate that, but also not feel like crap all the time, right? And I believe, at least with the information that I have today, that the answer to this is defining what enough is. Sometimes this is going to be with time. Sometimes this is going to be with projects. Sometimes this is going to be with money and revenue. Whatever your definition of enough is yours and wonderful. And so I want you to give yourself all the grace and permission to set this with whatever you want, but I will give some specific examples so you know what the heck I'm talking about. So we have to define what enough is, and I'll give the context of a specific day. So we often have to-do list, and you may or may not have heard me talk about this before, but I encourage everyone to have a to-day list instead of a to-do list. Because your to-do list as an ambitious entrepreneur is never going to be done. It's just not going to happen. You have so many ideas, you have so many things you want to do, it's never going to be done. So we need to be okay with the fact that your to-do list will be an ongoing thing. However, your to-day list can be done. You can get to the end of the day and cross things off and see a list that's been crossed off or whatever your version is. And so I would encourage you to start there and understanding what you need to get done within one day. So if you think about, okay, what would feel good? How can I close up this day? Like you listening to this right now, I want you to answer that question for yourself. Pause this episode and think about what is the one thing that I need to do today to feel like I did enough. I'm just going to pause there. Let you have a moment. But I want you to pause longer if you need it. And really understand what that specific thing is. So try really hard not to make it vague. Don't say, work on my business. Lord help you if that's on your list, because that's going to be your list forever, right? It needs to be something like, send 3 outreach emails to my contact list. I don't know, I just made that up. But the idea is like, it's very, very, very specific, because you can say, did I send 3 emails or did I not? And if you sent 3 emails, you can say, I did enough at the end of the day. And you can walk out and do the rest of your day, right? You can close out your workday knowing that you did enough. That will help you not feel behind. Now, sometimes it's going to be time, money, etc. But you can do this for anything. But that, I believe, is the answer. If you're feeling behind, you need to understand what enough is and be very, very clear with yourself about what is realistically enough. Because, I could say like, I want to book a trip to Italy for a month because I actually do want to do that. I'm not doing that today. That's not realistic today. That's not realistic this week. In my lifetime, I hope it is. That's what I'm striving for. It's something I want to do. But maybe, if I really want to take that goal seriously, maybe what I do is say, I'll start a Pinterest board called Italy. That I can do today. I can't book the trip, but I could start that Pinterest board. And then maybe next week I can decide, maybe I'll decide on what month to go. Not next year, but just decide what month of the year is a good idea. You see how these things, like, they can stack one on top of each other, but you have to be realistic about what enough is. So now that you know, okay, I'm feeling behind, here's the tool, the enough tool, right? Defining enough. That's the tool that you can actually solve that problem. But I do want to talk about procrastination for a minute, because I feel like it ties really closely with this of feeling like you're behind, because so often it's because you're procrastinating. And we all do it. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not trying to give shame here. We all do it, but pick your flavor here and get ready for this. Because when I read these 5, I was like, oh my gosh, they freaking nailed it. So again, came from the Assist newsletter. So I'm just going to rattle these off, but you can learn more there. But it was so good to just see these named. And I think you're going to know exactly which one you fall into as soon as I read it. So there's 5 types. The first, I don't know if they're really in an order, but the first one I'm going to say is passive procrastination. This is the one where it's like, I can't start because it feels too big. So you want to begin, but something is freezing you up. Probably perfectionism. Just going to call that out. But something is stopping you, and usually it's because it feels too big. So what I want you to do if you fall into this camp is shrink it down. If something feels too big, it's just like me going to Italy for a month. Well, how can I take it down? I took it down pretty quickly and said, I can start a Pinterest board today, right? That felt so doable. I can totally do that. And now I'm one step closer to making that a reality. So you just got to shrink it down. The second type is active procrastination. And this is when you might say something like this: I do my best work under pressure. Are you laughing? Because if you are, that's you. So many people have told me this. And here's the thing. You intentionally wait because you're hoping for that super focus. And that is wonderful that you have that. However, how many times have you been thrown off because something else got in the way at the last minute? And those surprises will wreck your movement forward. And so I encourage people to have fake deadlines, and you can create these where it's like, promise a friend that you're going to send something to them a week before you actually need to send it in to your boss. Or if you are doing something in your business, because most of us are entrepreneurs and trying to do this thing and no one's holding you accountable, that's where accountability really comes in. Maybe it's like, well, I'm going to find my biz bestie and have that accountability, or hire a coach or something and set those fake deadlines so that you can actually hold them, because you have to kind of trick your brain a little bit. And so you need to have something else on the other side holding you to those deadlines. Then the third is avoidant procrastination. And this is maybe, and you might not even say this out loud, but you may think this. Like, if I don't start, I can't fail. And I get this. When I think about the few things that I wish I had done differently in my life, it's because of this. There's the few things that I was like, looking back, I didn't know it in the time, but looking back, I know that I did not go for something because I was worried that I would fail. As an entrepreneur, I exercise this muscle every day. I fail more than I succeed, right? Because we all do, because we're trying so many different things. But we have to understand that this is the fear that's creeping in. And so I just need you to move forward. I just need you to do the thing, especially if you think you'll regret it if you didn't do it. And most of the time, it's because you're worried that something is going to look stupid, you or your work, or that someone's going to make fun of you or something. Like, I just need you to move forward with something. Maybe you don't publish something, but you write the post that you want to write and schedule it for another day. Or maybe you share that offering idea with someone to get it out of your brain and into real life. I just need you to move forward. You don't have to take it full on. Now, if you're ready to take it full on, go for it. But have that messy first draft, of something that's like, just get something out there. Just do the first version. It doesn't have to be perfect or even close to it. Number 4 is arousal procrastination. And this is when people are like, I chase that last minute rush. You are a dopamine chasing person and you like the feeling. Okay, just call it what it is. There's some of you out there, this is like the opposite of me. I'm like, no, thank you. I want no part of that panic. I would rather do things early. But you like it. You enjoy it. So this is where you can think about things of like craving other dopamine is basically like, because you're looking for the rush, right? You can do the fake deadlines, you can, but I seriously doubt you're going to get the same rush unless you really feel like it's a real deadline. Now, if you're working with a coach or something, they can set a deadline that they know is fake, but you don't. That's one benefit of working with a coach is they can, if you tell them like, this is where I struggle, or they know, they can actually set fake deadlines for you and you won't even know. And it's super helpful for that. But you could also like create dopamine for yourself in terms of like chasing it in another way. So tell yourself, if I hit this deadline, which is a little bit early, but if I hit it, I can get the thing that will give me the dopamine, like the reward that you want, or change locations of where you're working. Like, I can go to that awesome coffee shop that I like so much and get that fancy latte, but only if I finish the dang thing. If I don't finish that thing, I can't have that latte again for another year or something like that. So you have to know yourself. Like, I just made that example up. That might not be yours. You have to know what gives you the dopamine hit, where that rush is happening, so that you can hit the earlier deadline and know, okay, I actually did the thing. The 5th is decisional procrastination. This is when you're stuck with making a decision. Here's the thing I need you to remember here is that not making a decision is making a decision. And chances are, if that was you, you just felt that in your gut and you're like, oh, she's right. And the answer is yes. I am right with this because you are making a decision and it feels unintentional. So that's why it hurts so bad. You actually want to be in charge of your decision making. And so I need you to be intentional and say, I need to make a decision. Chances are, if you made a decision about whatever it is that you're procrastinating right now, if you made that decision, whatever it is, made it today and moved forward, 99.9% of the time, it's reversible. You can change it up. If you're about to make a decision that is irreversible, I need you to find support to work through whatever you need to work through. And that's the decision you've made is I need to work through this with someone else. I need 3 people to help me figure this out because it is irreversible. But really caution yourself. If you really think it's irreversible, I would challenge it multiple times because so often it's reversible. You can make a change. I have done so many things in my business. I've witnessed so many people do things in their business. They're like, that did not work out. I'm going to try again tomorrow though. And I'm going to do a different way. It's okay. I know I'm kind of making light of it right now because I've seen it happen so many times. The thing is that I know it sucks when you're in that feeling and you're like, I don't know how to make this decision. It's so hard. I get it. I totally get it. But moving forward is going to help you more than anything. So I just want to give the reminder that procrastination is not saying that you are a bad person or anything like that. This is just information. So which one of those 5 did you resonate with the most? And that's probably the one that you fall into the most frequent and therefore leads to feeling like you didn't do enough because you procrastinated something. So that is always going to hang out. If you're procrastinating something, it's always in the back of your mind. And so working through your type of procrastination is going to be helpful. So your accountable action that I want you to take is first, define what enough is. If it's today, this week, this year, this month, whatever. Define what enough is for you with whatever you need to do that with, time, money, etc. And then I want you to understand your primary procrastination style. I'll list those again, but just with the words. Passive procrastination, active procrastination, avoidant procrastination, arousal procrastination, and decisional procrastination. You can go back and listen if you need more of that information, but understanding which one of those you fall into is going to be super helpful. And then I want you to think about how you can move something forward today. Whatever it is, whether you're procrastinating with something or if you're not procrastinating with anything, I want you to look at what is enough for today and understand what could you do today that would make you sure that you did enough and you don't feel behind. Knowing that you get to come back to work tomorrow and do some more work and define what enough is the next day. Because that's going to be the biggest change for you. And just know, we are, as humans, notoriously terrible with understanding what we can accomplish in one day. We often overestimate and underestimate we underestimate how much time something's going to take and overestimate how much we can get done in a day. So give yourself some grace as you're trying to figure this out. And if you ever want support, I mentioned this, like having a coach support you through some of these things is very helpful. You can always reach out to me or find the coach that feels like a better fit for you. But you can always go to amandamckinney.com/work with me for information on that. And I just want you to remember that you're not behind. You're building. You're building things and doing it one brick at a time. One step at a time. So give yourself lots of grace as you're doing this. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and day and know that you, my friend, you did enough. Okay, I'll see you next time.